Welcome to Human School. I'm Dr. Patil Armenian, and each episode I'll share some of my personal stories, interview inspiring people, and offer tools to help you with the mission of being a human on Earth. Hi everyone, and welcome to Human School. I'm recording this on the eve of my going on vacation for a couple of weeks, which I'm really excited about because I've been working really hard lately. But let's be honest, I feel like I'm always working really hard. You're always working hard. We're all working pretty hard all the time. So it's important to take our vacations when we can, and also to take days off when we're not on vacation, when it's just your normal life. And so that brings me to a topic I know and love, and you're going to know all about it by the end of this episode, but that is the 0 day. I've been wanting to talk about 0 days for a while now, and I think I briefly brought it up during my Schedule is Life episode, because Schedule is Life. I highly recommend listening to that one if you haven't yet. But it came into my mind again recently because I saw a really nice patient at work the other day, a young man who'd been bitten by a black widow spider. And he was in excruciating pain, as you are if you get bit by a black widow spider, and was really kind and pleasant. I was asking him what time the spider bit him, what he was doing at that time. And he very sheepishly said, well, it was at 4 a.m. and I was playing video games. I was like, okay, cool. I mean, nothing wrong with that. And then he really felt like he had to qualify, well, I just worked 10 days in a row, and so I had a few days off, so that's why I was just doing that and chilling. I told him, I said, you don't need to justify any of that to me. You can do whatever you want at any time of day when you're off and you've been working really hard, and that's okay. I'm really sorry the spider got you, but it's totally okay to play video games at 4 a.m. if that's what you want to do on your time off. You've been working hard. Nobody needs to justify doing what they want on their time off, I feel. And so this brings us to this idea of 0 day. Now, 0 day is a day where you just don't do anything work-related. You kind of do what you want to do, sometimes what you need to do. I mean, it's okay to do some errands and cook and do some laundry on a 0 day. But what I mean is you're not doing anything work-related. I think a lot of us have jobs that are not strictly 9 to 5 regular human working hour jobs, but jobs where you may physically need to be somewhere for a certain period of time, or let's say online for a certain period of time if your work is remote. But you may also have a lot of other things to do for your job and for your work and career as a whole that are not a part of a regular work schedule. So, I've talked about it in the past before, all the different things that I do. I could very easily just think that I have to work all the time if I want to accomplish all the things that I'm going to accomplish. What I've realized is you really need to figure out how to schedule yourself so that you're not working every single day. The first time I got this concept was actually with my husband. At the time, he was my boyfriend, and I think it was one of our very first vacations together. We were on vacation, and this is when I was a resident in emergency medicine. And you know how when you're on vacation, you just want to sometimes just go and do things and see things. We realized that, we took the vacation so that we could rest, but we were doing all these activities, so we actually weren't resting at all. And so one day we said, okay, let's just do nothing today. Like literally nothing. Let's just watch TV and hang out, get some food, but really we're not going anywhere. And I don't know which one of us it was, but one of us was like, let's have a 0 day. And so it really started on vacation, the concept of the 0 day. I really started to think about it when I was a fellow in toxicology. I thought that fellowship would be easier than residency. I don't know why I thought that, but I really did. I just thought, oh, residency's over. The hard part is done. Now I can chill out, be a fellow. And then it turned out I was working way more hours than I ever did as a resident. And that was a really rude awakening. That was very tough for me to think about. But very quickly, I was starting to get very stressed out and depressed and burned out. And I was just having a tough time. One day I looked at my co-fellow and I said, I need to just take this afternoon off. Can you cover for me? And he's amazing. He's still a good friend. And he was like, yeah. And then in a few days, I'll take the afternoon off and you cover for me. And we were like, perfect. I really loved working with him because we were always on the same wavelength, that we worked really hard and tried to learn a lot, but we also would be lazy together when we needed to be. So we were a really good duo. We worked really well together. And so that first time I said, I'm just taking a mental health afternoon, and I took 4 hours off. It was literally just 4 hours. And I went to the Japanese spa in San Francisco, the Kabuki Spa. If any of you are up in the area, it's a great little spa. And I didn't even get a massage or anything. I just sat in the sauna, the steam room, did the cold plunge, the hot plunge, just did the routine for hours, and then went back to my apartment, felt like a new human being. And I just realized, yeah, you know what? I actually need to just turn off sometimes. So then I expanded that concept with just the idea of, okay, 1 day a month, I'm not going to do anything work related. Now, I worked most weekends of fellowship, and so usually that would be one weekend day where I didn't have a shift in the emergency department and I didn't have any fellowship related things. And then slowly I realized I could get in 2 days a month. So 2 days a month, if I really scheduled myself well, I could take 2 full days off a month and not worry about work, not even check email, to be honest. So I've really kept this going through the years, and the number has increased as my responsibilities and my work and my life change. My magic number now is 10 days a month. So 10 0 days a month, 10 total days off. I just need a lot of downtime. I've realized over the years that I need a lot of time to recharge and time to get my ideas. So the magic number for me is 10. Do I get that every month? Not necessarily. And lately, a lot of my, I would say, side activities, work-related, have really increased. And so it's all stuff that I want to do, but I'm not necessarily getting that many days, but I still am able to fit it in. For example, the last couple weeks have been incredibly ridiculous, but I still was able to fit in about 4 or 5 0 days. And I don't feel bad about any of them. You need time off so that you could be on. And that is really one of the things that I've learned a lot over the years. And I will say every personality is different. Every person is kind of wired differently. But for me, and maybe for you, you really need to be off so that then when you're on, you could properly be on. If you're just on a little bit all the time, it's like you're at a slow fizzle and you're going to fizzle out. But I think that if you think about more of off and on, it's better for you. You can only truly do this by being super organized. So if you don't have a calendar that you keep, like an electronic calendar, or maybe even a paper calendar that you actually update all the time, then you can't do this, right? Because one of the main things is that 0 days are days that you mark as days off on your calendar. So I have a specific color for 0 days. It's a pale turquoise and it just says off. It's one of those all-day markers, and I put it in on all the days where I'm really going to take off. And the reason you have to mark it as off on your calendar is because things pop up, right? Things pop up all the time. And if you know that, well, I was going to be off on this day, then maybe you won't schedule that meeting. Schedule that meeting on a day where you already have a bunch of meetings or other work stuff. When you're on, pack those days in, because if you don't, your work is going to bleed into every single other day. The first thing I do every month is to actually mark off on my calendar what my days off are going to be. Again, if you don't know when you're off, you don't know when you're on. And the other thing is to have multiple to-do lists. I mean, I have one to-do list that's, for example, all of my current major to-dos. But then I have a lot of other subsections. I have ones for my research work, ones for expert witness work that I do, one for a conference that I'm planning. I mean, there's lists on top of lists. I'm a real list person. I use the To-Do app. There's so many different apps for it, but I know what I have to do because there's a list for it. So if you have a good to-do list and you're keeping your calendar organized, I mean, that's step one, and you can do this. Now, I have a couple of friends who, because of their current job descriptions, really can't take a full 0 day unless they are on a designated vacation that they've assigned, other people to take on their roles. But in their day-to-day, non-actually leaving for vacation life, they can't really take a 0 day because of their roles. They kind of have to be on call all the time. And so that's okay. I mean, what can they do? So let's say you're somebody like that. What can you do? I think you can still block off chunks of time in specific days on a calendar. For example, noticing that, oh, you know what? Tuesday mornings are always kind of seen to be light with the meetings and other stuff. So I'm actually just going to block off, let's say, Tuesday mornings from 8 to noon. That's just going to be for myself, and I'm going to do whatever I want. And if all you do during that chunk of time is have a cup of tea or coffee and stare at a wall, that's okay. But we all need that. We all need that time to just almost like clean our brains, reset. If you feel like, you know what, Patil's crazy, that's crazy, I can't take a full 0 day, then start with a 4-hour chunk. Start with putting a 4-hour chunk on your calendar, being like, I am reclaiming this 4 hours for myself. And gradually, you might be able to increase that to 1 full day and then maybe more. Now, 0 day doesn't mean complete solitude, although you may want that. For me, hanging out with my family is a great 0 day activity. I actually enjoy cooking, so that's a great 0 day activity. So things that might seem like chores to you, I'm kind of okay with. I see them as meditative acts a lot of the times, but I work a lot, and so I actually want to be around my family when I'm off and be with my kid and my husband and my other family members. So doing that is a part of my resetting process. But I do also get hours of 0 time if I have a 0 day and my kid is in school or at, for example, a summer camp right now. Those are awesome because I also need the solitude. And so I think we all kind of need the solitude reset as well as that family social reset. We need our friends, our families. We need to be alone. We need all of it. And so your 0 day activities can involve all of that. But what it shouldn't involve is having work meetings, trying to write that paper draft you've been putting off forever, unless you put it on your calendar, like work on paper today, but that's not a 0 day, right? That's a work day. Also, we're very prone to checking email all the time. If you have the type of job where you can just take a day off from email, I found that if people really need me, they text me anyways. None of my emails are emergent. Another thing I do is like, let's say you get an idea, but you don't really want to like get into it for hours. I do a lot of scheduled text messages where I'll say, okay, you know what? I do need to talk to this person about this project, but I want to talk to them tomorrow. So I'm going to schedule that text message to go tomorrow at 9 a.m. when I'm having a work day and it's not a 0 day. That might sound really unusual to some of you, but It really protects my sanity, and it's enabled me to be extremely productive when I'm on. I take a lot of days off, but nobody really picks up on it because I'm so productive when I'm on, because like I'm in it. I'm in the game, I'm doing it, I'm getting ideas, and I'm getting ideas because I did have that 0-day time to myself to get fresh ideas and be interested and explore my curiosities. It's not a waste of time to take time off. So that's basically it. This is just my short and sweet monologue and kind of plea to you to think about starting to mark time off, starting to claim your time back for yourself so that you can really be the best and most productive version of yourself possible. And just again, remember, if you don't know when you're off, you don't know when you're on. It is very important to have that clear differentiation so that when you're on, you can really be there for the people who need you at work. And then, of course, you're kind of there all the time for your family and friends who keep you recharged and happy. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you took a 0-day or maybe just a 3 to 4 hour chunk. Let me know how it goes. I'm here for you, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, bye. Please like, subscribe, share, and download the podcast. And again, you can find us at Human School Podcast on Instagram. I'd like to thank Dr. Zach Effron for the theme music. And I'd just like to make a general disclaimer that any of the institutions I work for, including Community Regional Medical Center, UCSF Fresno, and American Ambulance, have nothing to do with any of my thoughts or opinions, and so we'll kindly leave them out of this. Thanks, everyone. See you next time.